Yeah, it is recording now.
Oh, good. Okay.
Mine has a little icon in the corner says REC.
Okay. Because I didn't record the last meeting and then I offered to do the minutes and I was a little shorthanded with information, but I did my best.
Meant for fast reading.
Yes.
Hi, Alyssa. It's Debbie. Did you get? Hey, thank you for taking.
Yeah, I did. I tried to call you and your line was busy just to, well, but I did get it.
Anytime you have a question, I'll be here tomorrow.
Okay. Well, I think it's part of going to be on the topic conversation.
I see, but
yeah.
And I am that dark shadow over there.
Oh, I don't see one.
It says text 2. That's me in the.
You might not see you, but I see you.
Okay, I'm in the office, so I'm not quite sure, but
okay.
I will
I see
myself.
What time do we have here? Let's see. Well, do we want to start without Joyce then?
I think you have to.
Okay. All right. Let's call the meeting together meeting to order at 4:01. Thank you everybody for being here. Hopefully Lyle and Bart will be able to show up. Good thing I just turned that off. Sorry. Anyway, may I, oh, hang on. No, we need one more person. No, we have 4 of us. Sorry, I miscounted. I get a motion to amend or approve the agenda. I want to amend it slightly just to talk about some HVAC topics that have come up for down at the plant, but that would be the only, that and Club Getaway. I want to add into the conversation, into the meeting today.
In new business or old business?
Club Getaway, just a slight update. HVAC, new business. So may I get a motion to approve the amended agenda? Second?
Yep.
Thank you. All in favor?
Yep.
Aye. Okay. May I get a motion to approve the minutes of the February 9th meeting? It was a regular meeting.
Yep. So moved.
Okay. Second? Second. Someone?
Second. John.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Sorry, I know it's boring. Believe me, I get it. New business. Couple things. Lyle had gotten a price on an estimate from a company for an HVAC system down at the plant because the heat at the plant is being done by one of those $35 little portable heaters that you get at Costco or someplace like that from a company called JP Dunn. And I haven't had a chance to fully look at it, but it's 6962 installed. And I just spoke to another guy by the name of Tom Esposito from VRF Solutions, who's going to come and look at the job on Thursday, Lyle, at 9 o'clock. He's going to send his assistant Ming to take a look at it, who just did a job here in town for John Casey, and he said he did a great job. So I'm going to just get 2 bids on that. And if somebody has a third company that they want to put out there for HVAC bid for down at the plant, let me know. We'll get a 3rd bid, but at least we have this and another bid.
Yeah, the one up there at 80 North Main Street, they use TLC, I think it's called. It's an air conditioning HVAC company. They're on call 24 hours. They're close by.
Okay. Do you have any information on how to reach them?
I'll give you the number as soon as I can.
All right. No, you can do it at the end of the meeting or text it to me. That's fine. If you send me their information, then we can get another bid on that. That'd be great. And the update on Club Getaway, I spoke with David Schreiber about what's going on down there. I'm begging him to at least get the permit process going. And he asked me to suggest an engineer. So I reached out to Bart. And while they're all busy, since Club Getaway seems to move at a snail's pace on this project, I figured by the time we get an engineer for them hooked up, it'll be time for them to start the project. So it should actually work. But Ricky, I was wondering if you might be able to walk, I know you've done it probably a million times, but when they get their engineer, would you walk that property that the town is possibly going to give us an easement on for Getaway with David and the engineer? Would you be able to do that? And you're on mute. Oh, you guys aren't allowed to be on mute. I need to hear you breathing. Ricky, you're on, there you go.
That's
so
better.
Able to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Bart sent him a list hopefully yesterday or today of a couple of engineers. He's going to reach out to one of them or a couple of them to see if they are who can do the job or wants to do the job. Right now, I guess he's been relying on the engineer from Hiram, which I said to him, oh my God, you need a bank loan to pay this guy. But at any rate, and at the rate they move so slowly. So he's going to find out, get a couple of estimates from a couple of engineers to see if the timing works. And then he's going to get back to us. And I thought that if you could walk that property with him, his main concern is blasting. And I mean, he's going to have to do something major on that to get this whole thing to happen anyway. And blasting should probably be the oh, I lost you. Oh, where'd you go? Oh, God damn it. Where are you? Oh, goodness.
I don't know. We see you.
I lost the whole screen.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
I lost the thing to get in on it. Where did you go?
Zoom thing?
Yeah.
We can see you and hear you.
All I see is my email list. Well, anyway, I don't even have the Joyce.
I minimized in the list.
Oh, goodness. All right.
You have
Well,
a little blue camera at the bottom there.
No, I've totally lost. I'm on my email screen and I don't have the email that Joyce just sent me to get into.
Log in?
Log in. Hang on. Let's see.
I can give you the number. If you want to just type it in.
You want that letter? Is that what you want?
No, I just want to see all of you. I just can't. This is.
Make your email smaller.
Minimize it, the screen.
But see what happens is I've got this other screen that says scheduling made easy.
Not that hard.
I have no idea.
What about the top right-hand corner where you can see all the participants?
Nope, I don't see any of that.
Just tap it to begin with.
You have a Mac computer or?
No, PC.
Okay.
Joyce, could you send me the invite again? Is that possible?
Or you mean Barbara?
Barbara, sorry.
I can, but you're already in the meeting.
Yeah, you are. You're here.
All right, well, whatever. Anyway, so that's the update on Club Getaway. And like if Ricky could go out on the field with them, that would be terrific. So, and that won't be for a while, but I just want to give you all a heads up on what they're at least planning on, because I said you have to get this done before you start to get, busy next year and stuff. So anyway, he is working towards that problem. Old business.
Hang on 1 second, please. Can I interrupt?
Yeah.
Can you please explain to some of the new members, I know Peter was trying to get in just a second ago, on how the tax situation works as far as water usage and stuff like that, so that we can understand what this complainant is?
That would be best to be spent by Debbie.
Okay, Debbie. You want to wait till then, or you want to tackle it now?
Well, that's that's the next
whatever
subject.
You want. What do you want?
Yeah, I just want you to explain to them, to the Peter and whoever else, maybe Kathy, I'm not sure if she knows it, how it works, how the system works as far as getting revenue and billing and stuff like that. So we can understand, the complaint.
It's a quarterly billing. It's divided into two parts. One is a basic charge, and there's a residential, commercial, basic charges. And then we have 3 special charges, one for Kent School, one for what I call the Kent, and one for restaurants. So those are the 5 different categories for basic charges. The other part, and those all have varying amounts of money associated with them. The other part is based on our water readings from Aquarian. We buy those water readings, and people pay it's $1,000 for 1,000 cubic feet. It's $3. It's $39 for 1,000 cubic feet. And most people, I say most people have a house and they use probably 1,000 cubic feet a month. So that's $3.90. And if they have a residential charge, the residential charge is $166 for the year. So divide that, and that's the bill. The long, very short explanation of that's what the bill is.
Okay, thank you.
So the complaint seems to be that I see Jane on the screen. Oh, God damn, I just lost you all again.
I just had to help her unmute.
There we go. I am so challenged today. This is not good. Anyway, as far as I know, the rates, the billing that Jane has been receiving does not match what the Aquarian water bill is. And then there are uneven amounts of money that are being billed per quarter. And this seems to date back to, is it 2017, Jane?
Yeah, I'll be honest, Alyssa, it goes way back. I know I've emailed Debbie a couple times. I'm asking for an audit. I'd like to get the actual copies of the bills. I'm not sure what's happening, but it all came to light when in 2020, everything was shut down. My store was closed, but I was getting these bills from the sewer saying I used 300 units, 500 units. And I was like, that's not right. So I called Aquarian, and I have their consumption report going back to 2011. And there are so many disparities that I don't understand how it happened. I spoke with Aquarian today, and they just told me that the way it's done is, I guess it's Debbie goes into their system and pulls the information off. So I don't know where the confusion's coming in, but it goes way back, and there's a huge disparity in what I've actually used and what I've been billed for.
Okay, and I mean, Debbie, are those figures manually entered in?
No, they're pulled off. There have been some disparities. I agree with Jane with that. But when I went through, and Jane very nicely gave me a copy of all of her water bills. And when I went through, I found a 2,100 cubic feet charge that I had not put in. So what I did was just sort of made it a wash. I thought, if I want to correct these bills, I'll add the 2,100 cubic feet and correct the mistakes that I have made. But I don't think it would come out in Jane's favor.
The only thing is, Deb, I told you, I spoke with Aquarian, and now, unfortunately, because I didn't discover it quick enough, they're like, there's not much they can do, but they said it's obviously you never used 2,100 cubic feet. You've never even used more than 300 at a quarter. So they said they would wash it. But this is going back a long time.
I know, and I have all of the bills, Jane. I thought you were coming to pick them up. I've got them. They show that I printed these on December 1st, and I did give a copy to Alyssa. They're here. If you want to come pick them up now, I've got them.
Now, is that the actual, I don't want that great big thing, Deborah. The only way I can do this, wait a minute, is to have this. That's what I need, because that tells me what here's one right here. I used 600 for the entire year of 2016. You billed me for 700 for 1 quarter. We're talking huge disparities here. And I did call and leave a message with your office several times, but I never heard back. And I know you were out for a while having hip surgery. So, you know, I waited and waited and waited. And finally I said, again, that right there, that's just 1 quarter. And it's off by so much when I only use 600 for the whole year.
And Jane, what I did December 1st, I took the year's bill. I took a copy. You gave me a copy of all of the water bills. I stapled those all together and I wrote down what the water bills say and what's on the bill. I as I said, until I got to the 2100, I kept going. I think it's not going to come out in your favor, Jane.
I don't know how, when right there, you billed me 700 when I used 600 for 1 quarter. That was for 1 year. And actually, I didn't have to go through all those bills the way I did. I wasted ink because Aquarian sent me a consumption report that goes back to 2011, and it's only 3 pages. And it has every unit that I used. I mean, even after we spoke last 6 or 7 months ago, the next 2 quarters, I got bills from you. I got charged 300 units. Again, I used 0 from Aquarian for both quarters.
Okay.
And you know, it's not just with me, Deborah, because I mean, again, I'm not faulting you, okay? But there's units right here in the Kent Town Center that have come to me and said, well, this is weird. Aquarian said I used 300 and the Kent Sewer charged me 0 units.
Well,
so,
by all means, if there's a mistake, come in with your water bill and I will correct it. I mean, but if you know people with water bills that are wrong, or not water bills, sewer bills, they can be fixed, but right, I don't know that until I hear it on the street.
Right. Well, I didn't understand, Deborah, that this was happening. It was only when I started getting bills for 2020 and I'm like, how can I have used a sewer or water? My store was closed for 6 months. And that's when I started going back. And I was like, oh my God, this goes way back to 2011, 2012. And that's why I asked for copies. That big paper that you give me tells me nothing. I just want the actual bill. And believe me, if I'd have known this was happening, I would have kept all these, but I didn't know. And I should have been more diligent, I admit. But again, you know, now I've got a sewer bill that's $1,600 and I'm like, where's this coming from? I've been charged interest. I've been charged attorney's fees on things that, again, it's way more than what I should have been billed for.
Okay, I think part of the problem, Jane, is you haven't given the Sewer Commission a payment since May 2nd of 2017.
But that's not my problem, Deborah. My problem is that I'm not going to pay again for usage that I'm not using. It's right here in black and white.
Okay. Okay. That's fine.
Let me show you.
I will go through. I will put in the 2100. I will take out, and then we'll have the discussion.
This is what they sent me, Deborah. Can you see this?
I can see the paper. Yes.
That's all you need. That's all you need. You don't need to go back through all the.
Jane, I think Jane did think I realize what's going on. You know, I'm, you know, no one wants to overcharge anybody on these sewer bills. I mean, obviously there's always a usage fee and then what you actually do use, you know, there's a base fee rather, and then your usage. But if you would go and sit down with Debbie and go over this, and I will get Debbie to pull that whole thing together for you.
Oh, I have it right here.
All right, match it. And both of you match it line for line or quarter for quarter, however you want to do it. And then, you know, we can get that clarified. Then I'm sure we can expect you to, you know, bring your bill current so that it's not, you know, because the longer you delay on paying the sewer commission, the more interest that gets loaded on.
Right. So except my
wrongs don't make a right. Okay.
No,
so
yeah, you're right.
And the other thing is, I mean, we're into the first quarter of 2021. And if this was happening last year, by this, you know, by June of last year, if you saw this happening and you knew the store was closed, you should have come.
I did,
Debbie,
Alyssa.
Or call me, or or bring it to someone else's attention if it's not being handled properly, so that we can make sure it does get corrected, because it's frustrating for you, and that it doesn't solve a problem. You know, we need to solve the problem. So,
right, but I want you to know, I most definitely went to Debbie last June. That's when I discovered it. And Debbie, you know, I called and left several messages on your voice thing. I even spoke twice with the girl in your office. I emailed you. I have 4 copies of the emails here asking you for it, and you didn't respond.
Okay.
So,
well, we're all responding now. Can you either fax or email a copy of the sheet you got from Aquarian?
sure. The consumption.
And then let's set a date right now where we will come and meet. I can meet outside. I can't bring you in the town hall, but we can sit outside and meet.
That's fine.
Or you know, whatever. I can't let you in.
That's fine. That's
okay,
fine.
So set a date and I will be there.
Well, next week I'm out of town, so the week after, whenever.
Okay, that would be the week of the 22nd.
All right, and I'm closed on Tuesday, so Tuesday would work for me, whatever
Tuesday,
time.
The 23rd would be good.
All right.
Pick a time.
What time, Deborah?
10 o'clock.
That's fine.
Tuesday, the 23rd. And do you want to meet outside the town hall?
That's fine. Is there a picnic table there?
Well, I'll find one.
All right.
Okay, Tuesday, the 23rd, 10 o'clock here. And in the meantime, if you fax that to me, we will go date by date by date and hammer this out.
Okay, that sounds good. So you actually have these small copies?
Yes, good. I have everything.
Because that's what I need. All right, good.
You can have whatever you want, but you'll find the information on one is the same as the information on the other, but I have small copies.
Good, thank you.
Okay, yep. Good. And then hopefully by the next meeting, we will have this whole thing resolved for your account there. And if anybody else at Kent Town Center has any questions, please tell them to reach out to Debbie so that we can get this whole thing clarified. Because I mean, we're not in the business of, we want it to be accurate. That's all. We want to just charge you for what your usage is. Okay.
Okay. All right. Great. Now I don't know if you saw, I had another blurb on the bottom of that I sent Joyce.
I saw about the basic for the whole thing of Kent Town Center for 25 and 27 North Main Street.
Right. Diane is here. She's the treasurer for the board. So she can speak to that even more than I can.
Okay.
Yeah, so just I mean, it would be good, I guess, for us to understand how that base is being charged. So for 25, so Jane's unit, there's some other units, whatever, they have their own restroom, and they're getting charged the $60 per quarter, right? Then there's 2 restrooms in 25 upstairs, and then there's some units, so those are in the hallway, and then there's some units upstairs in 25 that don't have their own restroom. And then in 27 there's a couple of units that have their own restroom, but the rest of the building on the first and the second floor do not have their own restroom, and we have the restrooms in the hallway. And these aren't public restrooms, just so everybody knows. So we're getting charged, it looks like for 25, 5 units, and for 27 North, we're getting charged 11 units, and only 2 of the units actually have their own restroom. So if we have 4 restrooms in 27 plus the 2 in, I guess that would make 6 entirely in the building. And then 2 restrooms in 25 that's not being billed to the individual units. How are we getting $60 per unit when majority of the units don't even have their own restrooms? And just, for just as a comparison, I looked at what on the town rates that we're getting charged, and it says $240, but that means we're getting $240, I guess, per unit, because it's $60 a quarter. Thanks, Jean. And then, oh, this is old, I think.
Yeah, that's an older
okay.
one.
So this is old. Anyway, so the restaurant rate, for argument's sake, I think it's like $900 something dollars
A year.
Yes.
a year. And so we're getting charged $240 a year per unit when all of the units don't even have their own restroom. So shouldn't it be $240 per restroom?
No, I think when Jane brought this up before, I went and pulled your deed, and the deed spells out pretty carefully what community charges, community bathrooms. I think this is something.
But we don't. But our building isn't community bathrooms.
Well,
may I make a suggestion? You put all these concerns in writing, submit it to the commission, and let the commission respond to you in writing. We're getting buried with all these details. I don't even know what you're talking about anymore.
Okay,
I've
done these goals for half an hour now. It'd be a lot easier if you put it in writing, send it in, and let Debbie or whomever respond in writing. And you'll get exactly what you're looking for. You'll have a record for it. I think it'd be a lot easier.
Well, I guess the simple question is, why are we getting charged $60 per condo unit instead of for each restroom? So,
I think it's written in the deed. I'll go and give you a copy of the deed. It's what is on file in the town clerk's office.
I'm sure that'll help clarify a lot of problems. Then if you see what is in the deed, if it specifies it to be billed a certain way, then that would at least, clarify that level of information for you all. And then you have your individual charges on top of it.
Well, so, I'm not talking about the usage. Obviously, whatever the usage is per units, we pay that. That's fine.
All right.
But my question is about the basic charge. And like, if we just want to make an analysis, right? If I look at, say, your restaurant, Alyssa, yours, it says yours is $948 a year. I mean, I don't know if you're getting charged per restroom or not, but let's just, if you're getting charged $948 a year and you have a public restroom that's getting probably a lot more traffic than each unit here, which only has
don't want my water bill.
No. I'm not saying your water bill. I'm not. No. I'm just talking about the basic charges. Just for just an analysis, right?
To be honest with you, the reason why the restaurant rates were changed a few years ago is because the cost of each restaurant having to pump out the septics, having to take out the grease and having, you have to pay to have the grease removed 3 to 4 times a year. That's why, because the restaurants weren't, sort of polluting the system as much because we were having the grease removed. That's why they sort of lowered the rate slightly. It used to be a much higher rate, but they lowered it a couple of years ago because of all the expenses the restaurants have with making sure the grease is taken away.
I understand that, actually. Okay. I used to work for a restaurant group. I know what the grease traps, that's
okay,
in and of itself. But if you look at it,
so needs to be answered by Debbie looking up the deed, which would obviously spell out why the rates are charged the way they are. I mean, obviously there's more to it in the writing of the when it was set up at Kent Town Center. Obviously the deed decided how you all were to be charged. So let Debbie pull that copy of it, get it to you, and then you guys can look through it to see why you're being charged the way you are. And then maybe that would help clarify that information. And then the usage charge is the usage charge.
Yeah, but like for the basic charge, then if I add up for all of the units here, these 2 buildings were paying like $5,000 a year, little more than that, $5,000 in the basic charge, aside from the usage. So that's why I'm saying, if you look at it in the aggregate, and we don't have nearly the amount of people. So if there's if there's something that I guess Debbie has that she could provide, and then we can continue to pursue this conversation, because it seems to me that we're getting charged way more than our a basic charge that seems to be way higher than seems reasonable for the number of people and these 2 buildings.
Okay, well, I'm sure the information you need, Debbie has. So let Debbie get that information to you and Jane, and then we can review it. You know, once you've seen that information and have deciphered it, I'll have Debbie get me a copy of it as well, so I understand what the argument is or the concern is, and then we can go forward. Okay.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, Alyssa.
I hope you're feeling better too. I hope I heard you were sick. You look good.
I'm good.
That's good.
It's more than that to get rid of me, believe me.
All right. Knock on wood, right?
Thank you guys very much.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Bye now. I'm gonna get out of this.
All right. So now you just want to.
Let's see.
She's gonna exit.
As soon as
If I can figure out. Okay. Leave. Okay.
Okay. The next topic on old business is 21 Bridge Street.
Okay. Leave.
Hi. You need to unmute. There you go.
That would make it easier. I don't know at what point we're supposed to ask our question about extending our porch. Is that under new or old business or some other heading? Donna told us that you guys were our next step in the process.
You're not, to my knowledge, changing anything, as you said, you know, as far as, you know, your bathrooms or sewer line or anything like that. You're just putting a porch on the front of the building?
We wanted to extend the porch 6 feet. Yes.
I think the reason why she makes everybody come to us is because in the past, new construction has happened and it actually has involved things that required the sewer commission to, you know, be part of. And all of a sudden we were the last man standing to get the information. So now they put us at the top of it, but I don't think you need to worry about us at all. I mean, unless you're changing a sewer line, adding in more bathrooms or sinks or things like that. But if it's only putting on a porch, then you don't need to worry about us.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So, Melissa?
Michael are my neighbors, and the sewer line runs behind the houses here, between the house and the river. I think that was their concern about expanding the porch, but I think
as long as you're not interfering with the sewer line, I don't think you'll have a problem.
Right. If it's going to encroach into the easement area, then that's what you have to know.
Oh, well, then maybe you should get us a set of drawings so that we know what you're planning to do. To be honest with you, all I saw is 21 Bridge Street on the agenda today, and I had no information on what it was. So
the 6 foot extension would be less than the existing concrete stairwell, and at the end of the 6 foot extension, the sewer line would be 13 feet away from that.
The center of the line, the pipe,
yeah,
right? The pipe, and then 10 feet on each side.
The 13 feet would be clear on
Great.
On the port side and 30 feet on the river side.
Well, then what I might do is get us a set of drawings so that we can just see to make sure that there's not going to be an issue with it. And then we can then make a better informed decision on this. I'm sure it's fine, but I think we need to see what you're planning to do as opposed to, you know, saying, oh, you're going to do this. And then all of a sudden it becomes something entirely different. And then we have a problem.
Can you see this picture?
So there's a little glare on it, but yeah, okay.
That's the sewer line. That would be the new porch. Right now the porch is here. So the distance from here to the sewer line is 13 feet.
I'm not positive then. I need to have Bart take a look at an actual set of drawings and see where the sewer line goes, just to make sure that if you start digging, we don't have a problem. Do you have a set of drawings for it, or not yet?
What we're trying to find out is if it's something we can do. And the power line people said that it was all right. And if you guys say it's all right, then we have to go to the wetlands next. And if they say it's all right, then we can have plans drawn up.
Okay. I think if you could come up with a sketch of what you're doing, that would just be more helpful as opposed to the picture, because the picture, as you're showing the picture, it's kind of shiny. So it's, you know, I'm not trying to make it be difficult. I just want to make sure that we just make the right decision. That's all. I'm sure it's fine, but I think we just need to see somewhat, even a temporary sort of sketched out drawing of where you know, you can easily go to the town hall or go online to, what's it called? Map.
Vision appraisal.
Vision appraisal. And you can get a drawing of your property. You know, you can get the, you know, I don't know, my brain has just stopped right now.
A surveyor's sketch, a survey sketch.
A surveyor's sketch of the property. And then this way you can pencil in where the drawing is, you know, the porch is going to be, and then we can make a better decision on that.
I have one. I'll pencil it in. And who do I send it to?
If you can send it to Joyce, and then she can send it out to the commission, that would be great.
Okay.
And I believe there's a fax for the sewer commission, and then she can scan it and send it to the rest of us.
Will do. Thank you.
Okay.
Is that the correct address though for your house?
13 Locust Lane.
Oh, I thought
this
we were
one
talking
says
about 21 Bridge Street.
No.
We jumped in.
Oh, you jumped. Oh, because I'm like, that doesn't look like Bridge Street. I'm like, where is this?
It's not Bridge Street.
Okay, so you're 13 Locust Lane.
Yes.
Okay, so definitely because of being near the water, then we definitely need to take a peek at that. Okay, and if you send that in, we'll take a look at it, and I'm sure, you know, we can just, if you can mark off where you're putting the porch, the dimensions of it, and then we can take a look at it and make a quick decision on it for you.
Terrific.
When's the wetland meeting? Don't tell me tonight.
No, I didn't get a date for that.
Okay, so if you get it back to us, I forget how quickly they meet, but we could, you know, we could send it out to the commission and perhaps get a quick answer on it, yes or no, if that's going to hold you, so it doesn't hold you up one way or the other.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
All right, will do.
Okay. So 21 Bridge Street.
Thank you, bye.
Bye, thank you.
That's Guy Mowry, and I don't see him on the call, Alyssa.
Okay. And do you have any idea what he was planning to do?
There was some concern with there actually being 2 apartments upstairs in his building, but land use only has 1. And so everybody needed to get back in check to make sure whether or not there was officially 2 apartments up there. But,
okay. All right. Well,
he received the Zoom information. I sent it to him, so I don't know where he is.
Okay. Well, if it was really important, he would have showed up, I'm sure. So we'll just table that till the next meeting then, I guess. Did you know that these people from 13 Locust Lane, her name was Priscilla. I have no idea who he was. I'm so sorry.
No, it's Mr. Valdez, and he actually had called me and we talked about it, and I told him he needed to send a sketch because of course Inland Wetlands is going to request that. He said, okay, I never heard from him again. So I was surprised to see him on the call, and especially jumping in at 21 Bridge Street.
Okay, because I'm like, I thought that was the motorcycle place. All right. Ordinances. I've not done anything about, I've heard from Jeff, and I have to read his epistle, and I haven't had a chance to it, but I will send it out to all of you so we can all share in that fine experience. But I talked to Joyce the other day, and I think come spring, we could maybe hopefully meet in person and then really discuss what we want to do with any of the ordinances as far as changing, either looking at rates or leaving rates the same or whatever. But I think it needs I think we need to, now that they've been broken out from the regulations, that we can, you know, come up with a better plan of attack now. And if anything needs to get changed, then we can take a look at it over maybe the next couple of weeks and months to see what we want to amend or leave it alone. We might not need to change anything. But I do think some rates need to be looked at going forward. That's all. And we'll go from there.
Hi, Alyssa.
Yes.
This is Bart. Just one of the things that Jeff said in his email is that the commission needs to officially approve the regulations that you had the public hearing on last year. Because I don't think you ever made an official adoption of those regulations.
No, I thought, to be honest with you, Bart, I thought at the meeting that was when it was approved, I thought that was the official adoption of them. But if it requires
at the town meeting,
right. But if
it requires an official action of the board to accept those regulations as the approved regulations.
Okay, is that something, not to sound like dopey, but can we do that right now?
Yes.
So
is that something, Joyce, is that something we can do right now or should do right now?
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, you have a full board, so.
Okay, so may I get a motion from anybody to make a motion to approve the regulations that were approved at the town meeting on January, oh boy, I'm not sure of the date, 2021, that separated out the ordinances from the regulations, and get a motion to approve that.
So moved.
What you need to approve, what you need to approve is the regulations that were discussed and reviewed at the public hearing last January.
So moved.
Those regulations.
Well, those are the ones we voted on in January, right?
Yeah, I don't think there was ever.
We didn't vote on it. The town approved it in January.
No, what the town approved, that a new ordinance that allowed you to create regulations, but those regulations weren't something that was reviewed or approved at the town meeting. The approval of the regulations is something that the commission does, not at the town meeting.
Okay, so then we need to approve. Why don't you just make the motion, Bart? Instead of making me struggle here. All right. We need to get a motion to approve the regulations that have been separated from the ordinances?
Yes.
Okay.
As reviewed at the public hearing in January of 2020.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Second, then aye.
Second. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Thank you, Bart. Sorry to make this torture.
That's all right.
Let's see. I did not get any oral, any other communication, oral or written, other than the email from Jane. Lyle, your report.
Good afternoon, everyone. We had 1.8 million gallons total go through the plant. It's a 66,000 gallon per day average. Of that, 859,000 gallons came from Kent School. Our average BOD and total suspended solids removal rate are both at 98%, and our average influent pH was 7.3. The new sludge press glitches have been addressed, and it runs perfectly. Well, there were just some minor adjustments that they had to make. Everything's on par now. It works great. Jordan is almost done with his first Sacramento course. He continues to score in the mid-90s on his tests. I spoke with Craig McCaskey today about if they were going to have a July test, and he wasn't sure. They won't know till the mid till the end of April what the summer schedule is going to be. So we, if he can get through his book, and there is a test, I'm going to try to have him test on, the first available test anyway. Jordan's at the end of his probation. He continues to gain knowledge of the plant. He has not missed any time during his probation period, and I recommend continuing his employment. I'm not sure exactly what that date is. Barbara and I touched briefly on it the other day.
Yeah, the note that I had said that he was eligible for an increase in pay. upon your recommendation. March 9th was the date.
March 9th. Today. Would everybody in agreement?
So what would the increase go to?
I think it's $1.
$1 we had originally.
Yeah, it's from 18
Okay.
to 19.
Well, I would say since he's passed his first test, you know, in the 90s, and he's well on the way to the second one, I have no problem seeing that he gets another $1 per hour to continue work so we don't lose him.
Right.
I hate to put all that time in training him and have him leave because of $1. So,
right.
You know,
I agree. Anybody else in favor?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All set.
As Alyssa mentioned, I got the quote from JP Dunn Heating and Cooling. And just on a business personal note, I got my COVID vaccination March 7th, and it's a Johnson & Johnson, so I don't need another dose. So at least hopefully I won't get
it.
Good.
And that's all I have.
Did Jimmy Rundle start that project yet?
No, I was going to talk to you afterward. If whenever I could get that sink this week would be great.
Yeah, anytime.
And okay, I didn't know if you had some.
I'm here all week long.
Yeah, to move some stuff around for us to get to the
I will go clean it out for you.
Okay, let me know when, and then we can come and grab it.
So just so everybody knows, we were able to probably shave about $600 off of that Jimmy Rundle bill because I had a 3-bay sink in the basement that we're not using or ever going to use because with food, it has to be a seamless sink, and this had seams in it. So I'm just, you know, giving it to the sewer commission to use because get it out of the basement at the restaurant. So, which is good. Anything else, Lyle, or you're good?
I'm good.
Okay. Barbara.
Okay, can you see my screen?
I can.
Yes.
Okay, so is this big enough for everybody?
Yep.
Yes.
Fine.
So this is the budget versus actual. I did it all the way through February because I missed January. So I just brought it all the way up to date. And as you can see, the septage fees are well above what was budgeted. And that's in large part due to Salvaris, is that how you say it?
Yes.
The user charges are basically right on budget. So that's fine. All the other expenses seem to be pretty much on budget. It looks like the electricity is a little bit high, but that may have something to do with the additional construction. I don't know. Our medical is below what was budgeted because the new employee isn't taking the medical benefits. And the payroll expenses are a little less than what was budgeted because he started off at a lesser rate than what was budgeted for the previous employee. Because we passed the budget way back in May, whatever. So basically, aside from the capital projects, we're at a $132,000 profit so far to date. However, we've spent a little money on capital projects. So really, if you netted that all together, we'd be at negative 200. As I pointed out in my previous report, the town actually paid we borrowed the money from the town to pay the first initial installment on the belt press with the assumption that when we actually go out to bid, the money will go back to the town and not back to the sewer commission. But the balance payment of 56,000 something was paid out of our own operating account, as well as the electrical and the plumbing and the building of the shed.
That's good.
So
that is good.
Yep. The next sheet is the typical balance sheet with the cash positions. So as you can see, because of the Salvaris income, our cash accounts have $88,000 more in the bank than they had last year. So that's good. Other than that, there really aren't any changes to the balance sheet. A little bit of equipment that we've purchased will increase our fixed assets. But but that usually gets posted at the end of the year. Then I just have the 2 disbursement journals, one for February and one for January. There isn't anything of note really in either of these disbursement journals. We had one check that was returned from the bank because the person's account was closed, and it's my understanding that they're going to be bringing in another check shortly. That's the February disbursement journal. This is the January disbursement journal. Again, nothing out of the ordinary, pretty much standard operating expenses. Does anybody have any questions? Nope.
Not that I can see.
Okay. So I just need the board to approve the 2 disbursement journals, one for January, one for February.
May I get a motion to approve the January and February disbursement journals?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Great. Debbie. You're on mute.
Sorry. I do have an issue I want to bring up about someone who owes an assessment bill for the sewer line. One person did not pay last year. And to be honest, I sort of let it slide because it was COVID time, but he's not paying this year either. I would like your permission to write him one more letter, and then it's pretty clearly written that, and I'll turn this over to the attorney if that's all right with you, that it's very clearly written in the contract that he signed that if he does not pay, especially over this period of time, then the whole thing becomes due and payable. But before I did that, I've waited. COVID is kind of calmed down and he didn't pay again. The bills go out in February. So I'm sort of wondering what to do. I mean, if he can't pay his 1/30th bill, maybe he can't pay the whole bill, but I need your advice. My feeling is to collect it, but I represent the commission, so.
I don't have I don't have a problem with you doing one more nicety to send him a letter and just say, you know.
I have spoken with the commission.
I would strongly advise him though, that if he does not make the next payment, that the whole thing is going to be due, and that's not going to be, probably won't be easy either. So this is the least of all evils if he can, you know, make that payment, or at least, or come in and talk to you about a payment arrangement or something and stick to it, you know?
Yes.
And okay. It's a screwy year, and I, you know, everybody's been affected differently. So I understand, you know, I can be a little bit softer on certain things, but I would reach out to him and let him know.
I did wait a year, yeah.
So, Kathy.
When you send your letter, Barbara, you send it return receipt or insured or registered or something so we know he gets it?
I will.
Okay. Thank you.
How much does he owe?
He has one of the smaller lots on Maple Street, so we're not talking about a huge amount of money. I don't want to use a name because I think
that's right.
Policy not to, but he was someone who was also paid for having the sewer line going over his property. So I think the sewer commission has been very fair.
Okay. All right. Well, let's try one more try. And if we don't hear from him, then by the April meeting, we can then make a better decision if he hasn't replied. And I mean, give him a time frame that he has to reply by so that, you know, we can move forward on it. That's all.
Okay. Thank you.
Uh-huh. And one more thing on this thing with Jane Jackson and all the Kent Town Center stuff. If you could get everybody a copy of, I mean, is the deed along, is it, you know, where the sewer commission part is, and it is, I don't want to read 900 pages of.
No, it's just.
Okay, but I just think if everybody's aware of what is in that document, so that when we hear them come back at us, then we have a better, you know, then we're better informed, that's all.
Okay.
Okay. Bart, I hope you're not in your car.
Yeah, it's still in the car. Can't make it back to the office before you guys start your meeting. So, but anyways,
cut out on us.
Yeah, hope that's why I'm leaving the video off for now. Just hopefully the voice will come through. So, what we're trying to tried to do in the past, we talked about the redundant treatment tank for the treatment system because of the condition of the existing tank.
Correct.
And I've dredged up all the materials that we had relative to cost estimates, and have started to put together an outline of what they call a preliminary engineer's report. And before I started spending a lot of time on it, I wanted to talk informally with the commission relative to some of the level of expenses associated with a project of this type. And what I found from the manufacturer of the treatment tank, the treatment tank alone is going to cost $900,000, and that's doesn't include any of the site work, any of the concrete work, any of the piping, electrical, and so there's a significant amount of money that's associated with those other improvements. The other thing to consider here is that you're going to go to that level of work. There's other improvements that should be made at the same time to the treatment plant, which includes the headworks, the screening system for the headworks, and new blowers, new higher efficiency blowers that provide the air for the treatment system. And all in all, that expense, the expense of a project like this could be between $1.5 and $2 million in a pretty big hurry. So I just wanted to bring this information to the commission so that they can understand just what level of project that we're talking here before we proceed with it on a more formal basis. Give you some opportunity to give some consideration to the cost and what you're hoping to accomplish by this, other than the fact that the treatment tank does need to be replaced at some point in time because it is corroding. It will need to be fixed, either repaired or replaced with a new tank, or give some consideration to a whole new treatment process altogether, which may be somewhat less expensive.
Is there that option? Is there that option to have another form of treatment process?
There are other treatment processes out there. I don't think you're going to be saving significant amounts of money to go to a different treatment process. But, it may, if it's instead of being $1.5 million, maybe it'll be, 1.3 million or something like that. So it's still a substantial project, no matter what process you look at. But, there may be some savings by looking at other treatment processes.
Well, I honestly think that, obviously we're not starting this tomorrow. It's something we need to plan for, because I think the town is moving in that direction to be able to add more users on, whether it's going to be on eventually when that property gets sold by the town hall, there's that lot development that's going up on Route 7 right across, which was the Dot Casey property. Kent School is always adding on something else. Once the Kent goes back on, once Club Getaway comes on, I just think if we don't make provisions to plan for the future, I think we're going to it's the same analogy as David Schreiber down at Club Getaway. You can't wait till the last minute and say, oh, we're going to do this, because at that point it's too late, and you're putting on more Band-Aids to try and fix the problem. So I just think it's something we need to investigate.
This work that this work that we're proposing is just to maintain the existing capacity. It won't get you a substantial bump in treatment capacity. It'll just give you a redundancy, which, you know, helps you maintain the capacity that you have right now. And that capacity, you know, that right now there's you, according to Lyle's reports and everything, you're doing between 70 and 80,000 gallons per day, and you have a total capacity of 142,000 gallons per day. So there is some additional capacity there to accept new users. But when you think about expansion, you know, it brings in quite a few different considerations. You know, right now the bottleneck in the treatment process is the groundwater infiltration system, not so much the treatment tanks themselves. You know, you can only get it infiltrate so much water into the ground down there, and you're pretty close to the capacity there. And so if you want to go significant increases in capacity, you have to find another way to discharge the water. And the obvious consideration is to go right into the river. But once you do that, you get into a world of different permitting processes that will require significant changes and expenses in a new treatment system. So you gotta think that there is an upper limit to capacity, and until you start warming up to the fact that yes, we need this extra capacity without question, and we have someone on the hook to pay for the additional expense of that capacity. But you know, to take on the expense in and of itself is you know, considerable investment in the future to the commission, and just how much that investment pays off is obviously something that, you know, the commission will have to give some consideration.
Let me ask you a question on that treatment tank. Could you, if we do this down the road, if you have the treatment tank that's there and we put in a second one, would that take, I mean, if we put in a new one and we're able to either repair the other one or put a second one in, would that two treatment tanks take on a bigger capacity or no?
The bottleneck to capacity, the way the system operates right now, is the groundwater infiltration lagoons.
Okay.
So you could put a second tank in, but you won't get a huge bump in additional capacity.
Okay. Bart, thank you. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate that. I mean, obviously it's something we have to give a great deal of thought to and look into, obviously a lot more, but I mean, I think as the commission goes forward, we need to think of what we're going to do and what we want to do and where we are, and, you know, what's best going to suit the town, you know, and, you know, I get the.
Well, what I can do is just, what I can do is summarize some of the talking points, so, and, you know, put it down on a piece of paper so that the commission can look at this a little bit more at its leisure and can consider in more detail at the next meeting, or however, whatever schedule the commission wants to move ahead on.
That'd be great. That would be very helpful.
And it's important to note that the development could come on now, like Getaway, like the additional residential development up on the north side of town, and the additional space below the Kent Green is all something that can be supported by the existing capacity of the existing plant. So okay. you won't immediately get into a bind with capacity right away unless somebody comes in and does something, hugely dense or, it's a manufacturing process that uses a lot of water. So you've got some capacity, so the plant can handle some future development, but there is limits to what it can handle at this point.
Okay. Kathy, do you have a question?
Nope, sorry, just scratching my forehead. I think that's good info.
Like you're about to say something though. Okay, does anybody have anything to add in or question?
I wanted to bring something up. I got a phone call from a gentleman that, I don't know if he owns it or he's selling the house, first house over the railroad tracks on Maple Street Extension, that little white house on the left. They're going to be looking to hook up to the sewer system. So he's in the preliminary of gathering all the information.
Good.
On that. So I'll just let you know that that's on the horizon.
Good.
Yep.
How big of a house?
Pardon me?
How big of a house? Because right now it's dilapidated.
I don't know what their intentions are. Just, as far as what they're going to do to the structure, you just question, on whereabouts he could hook up, and if I knew where the lateral was for the home, and where he could get the paperwork and everything to start the process.
All good.
Yeah.
Another user.
Right.
These are down to 16 that need to go on.
Right.
Does anybody else have anything to add in or say or not say? Then meeting adjourned, I guess. Right. And it's adjourned at what time are you here? At 5:05.
5:05, okay.
Thank you all.
You're welcome. Bye.
Later, everybody.
Bye. Great. Thanks.
Well.